Artful is a killer that is hard to pick up at the beginning. Even with the basic knowledge of trapping, players need to understand how Artful perform in his matches. His stats are below average, meaning his potential lies in his abilities and how good you can use them. In this video, I will show you how you use the walls and music boxes, when to repurpose, and the combos of all abilities. By the way, if you want to find wall and music box spots, follow these steps. Turn on infinite stamina, in-game jumping, friendly fire 'em, and turn off cooldowns and special game modes. Then pick a map you want to test spots and then just do whatever you want. Make sure to give yourself the strength effect, since with friendly fire, you can destroy your walls and music boxes in one hit. Also, you can check if a wall is secured by trying to go through them, since friendly fire also adds collision to them. Music boxes have a radius of 2 walls on average, so use this knowledge to measure some music box spots. Before getting into map-specific strategies, which may be different for everybody but is mandatory, there are a few things to know about your traps. Not every part needs to be covered. Some loops are really bad to the point you can deal with it easily. Walls are plentiful, but temporary. Music boxes are permanent, but scarce. Combining these two together can make certain areas deadly to be in. Walls can simply make dead zones by itself or force civilians into music boxes, which will be the main tactic I will use in games. Even niche wall spots in a normal match may become great when it creates a dead end. As I said before, music boxes have a really large range, so never underestimate them if you ever see one. They can hard counter a small part of a map or cover multiple parts that are often passed by. I'll get more into repurposing later. But for now, let's start my strategies on some maps. Here in Teapot Paradise, I came up with these 2 music spots. That music box covers both the outer section and the bridge section of the map, while this one covers a bridge section and some notorious loops. On this side of the map, being the spawn section for civilians, use the wall here to both prevent the large loop here and force the civilians to go into this music box. The part back here is really not that worth it to block off, so leave it be. You can even reinforce the music box with this wall. I kind of missed it there, but as long as the gap isn't 2 studs long, you are good. Yeah, this part is pretty annoying, but that is what the music box is there for, covering this loop. This is a pretty strong wall spot here. This is basically a free cornering place, allowing you to control where the civilians may go. You can even combine with that wall too, so it's even better to use this. The bridge section, or the middle, is not an issue since both music boxes are covering them, and the ledge here makes this section easier to counter too. On the back side of the map, you can use both walls to force civilians into the other music box here. You can ignore this side right here since it just leads into the area I mentioned. The killer spawn area can be ignored by just this wall. However, in the case that civilians got into this area, you can trap them with 2 walls. This entire thing can be shut down with just walls, so no music boxes are needed here. That's everything about this map. Let's move on to the next. Welcome to the headquarters. This is a pretty good map frame here. Let's take this side of the map for example. This area can be blocked off by just 1 wall here. It's just too good for a spot that blocks an entire area like this. This part can also be covered by just walls, so it's just salt to the wound at this point. This side can also be covered with just 1 wall, like the old one, but there is an addition of a fountain. The fountain itself can be blocked off with a few walls here and there, so even this spot still is not great. Honestly, with this side of the map becoming death sentences when you enter them, I wonder how the other side can be this bad. Don't worry, this side is not as free now, but not very frustrating to deal with. This area is not bad with the wall and music box combo here. There's even a trap area over there. The other side is quite bad, but the ledge makes the entire thing really bad for civilians with a music box there. Here comes the second trap area of the map. 1 wall here and 1 wall there. Oh yeah, here's the second music box. It patches the most annoying trap area of the map and covers the giant outside loop of doom. The rest of the trap is fine, so another map done. Welcome to Baseplate. Before this practice, I have rarely used a single music box, so this music box is not as optimal, but it's something. Here's why. This wall spot creates 2 potential trap area, and it blocks a common pathway, so it's best to maintain this wall if you can. This side is now a large dead end. 1 wall extends this dead end. Another one, and now this is a trap. Here's the second one. The first wall blocks another common path, so they must go the other way. Then you place another one. They now have to go into this small area, which is not that good for looping, to be honest. The last one seals the entire thing. You can also use this one if they are a little too close. Before the water rises, this spot is basically a trap area for you, since the door here isn't open then. The internal loop can also be blocked with a wall. This area is just a trap area with 2 walls. You can also do the other wall like this if you are good enough. During the recording, I had difficulty finding where would be a good spot for my second music box. The first one was here, in the trap area I mentioned earlier. Then it was this in the water for some reason. It's kind of bad, but I thought it would a substitute for the water before rising. Then I realized that I could just put this here. It covers for the trap area a bit, but also counter a pretty annoying loop. It's a good one too, since it covers the main path here. Combined with this wall, and the area is kind of secured. For this final loop, I actually recommend blocking it off here since it forces civilians into the first music box there. That's everything for this map, on to the next. Welcome to Grandma's Backyard. Literally all strategies on the old version still applies with a few additions. These 2 music boxes are even better now, with the new ledges and wall spots. This trap area still works now, but a bit less effective with the area now being bigger by a bit. This is the new trap area, and it's really strong now. The music box right behind you can be moved into the trap so you can put more pressure freely. Remember how this music box used to cover the 2 most annoying ledges on this map? Time flies, man. This corner can be blocked with this wall spot. It has to be here, otherwise they will escape the area for free if you block it on the other side. Don't worry about the other new ledges added. They don't help much when being chased. Probably the quickest map strategy, simply because not a lot of changes are made. Welcome to the temple. This is a hard map for Artful, but you can deal with it if you know what you are doing. First off, the music box here and the wall here. The wall patches the weakest path out, and the music box covers the rest of the area. You can also zone civilians back in thanks to the layout of the area. The outside loops are annoying, so I recommend destroying anything in the way. It's not worth using a music box to cover it when there is a bigger one to cover. Although this wall spot is interesting because it uses an invisible part here. It's a really funny spot and also good too. You can also cover this loop too if you feel like it. Here is the second music box, covering a lot of the annoying parts. It also covers the main pathway, so it's really good. This spot alone saves a lot of walls, and you can have 2 supporting walls to make this even better. Oh yeah, you can make a trap area here with 3 walls. The area in particular is average, so you can bring the music box into the equation and finish the civilians off. Here's the last wall spot for the map. The other remaining ones are not as good, so this is shown. You can wrap around a civilian and force them back to the music box. It's a nice one to have. Moving to the next map. Welcome to Tundra's Trench. This is a pretty big map here, but it's not bad for Artful. This area itself is also great for Artful actually. 2 walls here and there, and the trapped civilians are going to die. The trapped area, however, is kind of good, so you need another wall to block a loop off. Here is the first music box. It covers a pretty annoying loop on this side of the map and blocks an escape route. Combined with the wall here, you can force them into the music box with ease. You can also use 2 walls to block the connecting bridge. It's not as practical, but is a pretty strong splitting tool when there is not many stunners in the lobby. I think this spot is for the second music box. The reason is that it is covering the very place walls can't do a lot to patch it. It also covers the exit on the rocky cliff. Speaking of, this area is a really annoying to deal with as Artful. It has a lot of loops and is a pretty dominant place for civilians to be in. Speaking of, this area is a really annoying to deal with as Artful. It has a lot of loops and is a pretty dominant place for civilians to be in. That's why you may want to block off this area with 2 walls. Don't worry, remember that civilians can squeeze in really small gaps anymore. These 2 walls can also replace the far wall with it, also covering another significant part of the map. There's not a lot you can do with this area since it is really open. Double walls can work, but only if you have the time to do so. Let's get into the last map and the hardest map. Welcome to Augury Exhibition, the worst map for Artful. I've taken the most time thinking about this map, but I've came up with something. This is the main music box. You might think that it is bad because it is right next to a killer door, but there is a reason why I chose this specifically. It covers some good loops on the map, and you can pair it with a wall here to force them into a pretty deadly trap area. By the way, This area is pretty free for artful, meaning almost no one wants to go into this area of the map. Even that maneuver part inside will be destroyed with a music box. This will be the only instance of me using the second music box for temporary control. Here comes the notorious part of the map. Players use a music box to shut this down, but you can use two walls precisely here. One extends the loop, and the other creates the dead end. The latter can also block the exit of the next area I will cover. The second temporary music spot is here to cover the other escape route of this area. This corner of the map has a wall spot that isn't known until now. Placing the wall on the line, you can create a dead end with the other wall here. So now you end up with a desk area, but another wall can shut it down with other walls. The inside section is also a nightmare for Artful to deal with, but a quick combo of a music box and a wall can allow you to catch up easily. You may use a repurposed music box if you have. The last tier can be trapped with a wall, so it's no biggie. I think the only hard part is trying to move the music boxes, but it's something you may need to do. That's all the maps. Wow, it took a while, but there's also some repurposed tips and priority targets. I'll take this last man standing as an example. Repurpose can turn your walls into quick damage and your music boxes into quick speed, which can be crucial when the time is now 1 minute and 15 seconds. In fact, you might get a lot of close calls in your games consistently because of the time constraint. Repurposing stuff is kind of important. However, you may want to let your music boxes be when its map control is great for all times. By the way, this is before the practice, but still. Though this is a pretty nasty trap area, using all 5 walls on one area. Don't repurpose the last civilian. I may do it by habit, but puppets are only for early damage. Alright, I think that's repurpose covered. Time for some target priorities. The last thing I want to show is the target list. It's pretty even, so you may have some chances here and there. Revolver and Love Shot are actually pretty bad since they both can deal high damage to walls you want alive. Banana Peel is bad because of its LMS with Artful, which I'll get to if you do get into one. Dash is actually pretty broken in some maps since they can dash over walls on high grounds and run past you. Punch is slightly lower due to its high cooldown and low damage, but still, it's damage. Pie can hit you from far away, and while you're setting up traps. The rest are because they are not as disruptive, but are something to consider when facing against them. I think that's everything for now. Well, that is a bit shorter than the civilian guide, probably because it is just 1 killer out of 5. Yes, the rest of the killers are getting a guide. This will include the updated Pursuer guide because it was a little too early to make it. You still need to learn some of the basics, as all my guides don't cover literally everything you need to know, only for a specific character. Have a good day.